I guess I started this by recording a clip of me reading A Court of Silver Flames because I just couldn't help myself. And then I just kept doing that sort of thing, and now we're here. And I didn't film an intro, so I guess this is it now. Hey, I'm Kenna. Welcome to 2 weeks of books because I don't read very many books because I have a lot of schoolwork, but so I can't do weekly reading vlogs because you would just watch me read the same book for 15 minutes a day over the course of a week. There's someone in the courtyard. Gotta play it cool. Can't let people think I'm weird or crazy because we all know that that's not true. So here's a 2-week vlog, I guess. Honestly, it's only 3 clips that I filmed, and one of them was just talking about banned books. I don't really know what this is. What I read for the past 2 weeks, that's what I'll call it. So, welcome to what I read for the past 2 weeks. It's happening, and I'm forgetting that I'm a person. Oh, this is such a good feeling. I shouldn't have put this book off for so long. Y'all, I just read an article in the New York Times that A Court of Mist and Fury by my girl SJM was flagged to be banned in Virginia, where I live. Congrats to Sarah J. Maas. Look at her go. She has a book worthy of being banned, so congrats to her on that. Also, what? I'm clearly upset about this. I know so many people who love that book. There is nothing harmful about it. Congrats. Let me explain this a little further. Now that I have my wits about me, now that the shock has receded, I don't think people who are trying to ban books understand the kind of power that they have, or maybe they do and they're scared of it. But let me just say, if it wasn't for Sarah J. Maas's books, I don't even know where I would be. Like, I started reading them at a time in my life where I was dissociating all the time. Like, I never felt like I was present in my body. But like I've said before, reading her books makes me forget that I'm a person. Like, it just takes over every aspect of my mind. So getting to read her books was like the one thing that took me away from being so out of sorts, so far away from everything. That was the one thing that could completely take everything in my brain and make me present. Like, I could actually be somewhere where my mind was fully focused on one thing. And if I didn't have that at that time in my life, it would not have ended well. So yeah. And there's a lot of books like that, a lot of books on the banned books list that have done this for other people. And this makes me angry that they're trying to take this away. They, the people in power who don't like what books teach. So, food for thought. I hate being on the first floor. I thought my door was open. It's not. I can see it in the background. I hate being on the first floor because anybody could just walk by. How humbling would that be for me? Too humbling. I don't think I would recover. I've been humbled enough times in my life. Anyways. I just finished this book. Okay, I didn't just finish it. I finished it at like 2 a.m. last night. And then I woke up this morning and I'm still thinking about it. It's so good. Okay, so it's Beach Read by Emily Henry, in case, you know, you're Leah Michelle. And basically I read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I didn't really like it that much. Like, I guess it was cute or whatever. Friends to Lovers is not normally my vibe. I just don't enjoy it very much. And I didn't want to pick up another Emily Henry. Like, I thought the writing was pretty good, but I was like, I just didn't love the story super much. Sorry, those were bad words. But one of my best friends was like, oh yeah, like I read Emily Henry's books, and if I had read People We Meet on Vacation first, I also probably would not have picked up her other books. And then she said that Beach Read was her favorite. She was like, if I picked up Beach Read, she did pick up Beach Read first, and then she read the rest of Emily Henry's books. So I was like, okay, maybe like, and then I saw it at Target for $13, and I was like, I could really go for a last minute summer read before I really get into fall. And so that was this, and it was so good. Loved it. 5 stars. 5 stars. Gus, love him. January, I love her. I literally think she might be my new favorite romantic lead in a romance book. I think she might be my new favorite. Like, their banter is so good. And I'm so sorry, but in a lot of romance books, when the main character is like quirky and funny, it's actually just like childish and embarrassing. But January is actually funny. At first I was a little bit unsure, but the farther we got in and the better their like banter got, I was like, oh my gosh, she's hilarious. Like, she's witty, it's just funny. She's so funny. So that's why I think I like especially enjoyed this. Also, although the romance was the main plot, I feel like what a lot of romance books are lacking nowadays is like an actual plot besides the relationship. But this did have like an actual plot, and not just the whole, I didn't tell you what it's about. I mean, if you don't know what it's about, you're probably just not on book 2. But basically, Gus and January live, okay. Gus lives in this house on a lake, right? And January moves to the house next door for the summer to try and write her next romance book. And Gus writes lit fiction. And, you know, she can't write her book, he can't write his books. They're like, you know what, let's try writing each other's genres by the end of the summer to like prove that they're more difficult than they seem. Besides that major plot that fuels the relationship, all the stuff that January goes through is like so good too. And maybe it's because it hits a little too close to home and it just really hurts. Like, I was reading it and like, you know how on Instagram you see all the cute little annotations of like the dialogue like highlighted with little hearts around it? Yeah, I was highlighting the sad shit around the teardrop marks. But maybe because I connected to it so much, I thought it was extra good. And then January was just, I just loved her. I loved her more than Gus, which normally I like the guy more because typically they're better. Sorry, because the girls are annoying. Sorry, I love women. I just often find romance heroines kind of annoying and childish, but I liked January a lot, so I liked her more than Gus, and that's just rare. So congrats, Emily Henry. As if that was her point, was try to get me to like the protagonist. Sorry. Beach Read by Emily Henry. Read it if you can, because it was fantastic. 5 stars. It might be my new favorite romance book ever. That's pretty good. I mean, I did highlight cute little lines. Like their banter, I had to highlight it because it's just so funny. There's someone walking across the courtyard, so I'm just gonna... And it was just so fantastic. Yeah. And my love language is casual intimacy, which I know that that's not one, but it is for me. It's like, just like when you do something that's affectionate and you don't even think about it, or like you don't even realize that you did it. Like, look over at someone and you're like, oh, they're uncomfortable, so you like smile at them. I'm trying to, this might be a slight spoiler, not really, but kind of. It's just one small plot point. I'll go like this when it's over if you're like really want to go in blind. But it's this one part where they're driving and his hand's on the gear shift holding her hand, and he just lifts it up and kisses it, put it back down. I melted. That's all it takes. So that was just an example of casual intimacy. Yeah, I would literally just highlight parts where like he smiled at her and I'm like, oh my god, he smiled at her. That's all it takes for me. That was Skater Boy. I want him to think I'm cool. That was Beach Read. I did also read another book. And that is Malibu Rising by the one, the only Taylor Jenkins Reid. I really think Taylor Jenkins Reid could write, let's see, trying to say nonfiction, cold hard facts, and this is how I would read it. Like that, feet kicking in the air. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, and Malibu Rising, no exception. 5 stars. 5 stars. So phenomenal. And what I especially loved about this book is that she actually uses the style of writing that Jane Austen invented. It's called free indirect discourse, and it's where there's like an unnamed narrator that's third person but jumps around from different characters' thoughts. So it's never omnipotent, like you never know all of the characters' thoughts at all the same time, but it just like smoothly transitions in between the different characters' points of view. I had to take a pause break to free up more storage. I don't remember where I was. Free indirect discourse. So like, in one paragraph it would be like, Kit wondered if this and this and this, and then there's like a bit of dialogue, and and then it'll be like, Hud noticed this, he wondered. So it switches right from her point of view and like her perspective on what's happening right to Hud's, and that like switch between is the style that Jane Austen invented. And I don't know if you know this, but Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorite books of all time. So I saw that, read that switch in thought, and I was like, are you joking me? I got so unbelievably excited. I greatly enjoyed it. 5 stars. Good story too. A lot of the complaints were that there's these little exposés, chapters, parts in the book from different characters' point of view that aren't the main characters. You know, like during the party. This is about the oldest daughter, Riva, throwing a giant party at the end of the summer and shit goes down. Drama, to put it shortly. And it gives you all of the background heading up to it. And I've said before, I hate dual timeline. I can never get into it. I can't jump back and forth between the stories. It's just awful. 5 stars, dual timeline. There's an exception to every rule. I enjoy the little exposés of the other characters because a lot happens at parties that you don't see or don't hear about till like the next day and like are somehow feel important. It's like, oh yeah, I was there and that happened. And that's kind of the whole point of this book, is that people like to go to the party to say that they were there when this star was caught doing heroin in the bathroom. Like that was a really extreme example. When this star was caught kissing this other one, people just like to be like, oh yeah, I was at that party, I was there when that happened. So then this shows the things that are like, whoa, that happened at the party. I don't know. And I just enjoyed the cute little stories. I just thought they were fun. So yeah, I really loved it. And the characters, they're always fantastic. She's amazing. And I forgot to mention, I go back and forth between things all the time. The most romantic part of Beach Read by Emily Henry is the acknowledgements. Because before I started reading the book, I was trying to see how many pages it was, because that's a thing that I do. I don't know, to be prepared. So I highlighted it. I went to go see the pages, and I read the last line in the acknowledgements, and I was like, I almost started crying. I'm gonna read it to you. It says, with you in my life, it's hard not to be a romantic. Will I ever find happiness? I'm gonna cry thinking about it. Like, that's just the best. I'm just so happy for her that I want to jump off a bridge. Also, look at my sweatshirt. It's Taylor Swift. I wear Taylor Swift to everything. It's a reference to The Lakes, one of my favorite songs ever, and probably my second favorite Taylor Swift song, and it is given to me by my sister. Shout out, sister. Okay, then I finished A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, and I did get entranced, absorbed by the writing, stayed up till 4 a.m. one night to finish it on a school night. It was a bad decision. However, I think it might be one of my least favorite Sarah J. Maas books. Hear me out. It's not because I hate Nesta, which before reading this, I hated her with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I hate her. She was mean. She was a bitch, rude to everyone. Like, and then you get this book of her POV, and I'll let you know when there will be spoilers. So obviously, since it's in her POV, you're gonna get insight on her thoughts and kind of what was happening and what she was going through. And like, for me, it was an explanation, but not an excuse. So like, her past character before this book, still hate, but the character growth in this book was done really well. And a lot of people were upset because that's basically all this book was characters developing and characters growing. There wasn't much plot, but I was honestly fine with that. I'm a character-driven gal. So I was like happy to read 757 pages of a girl coming up and down the stairs. Like, I was here for that. I was here for the metaphor, all that good stuff. I don't know if this could be considered spoilers, but like, maybe. So like, look for a thumbs up if you don't want spoilers on this. Everything was so dramatic, and don't get me wrong, I love the drama, love the dramatics, love the theatrical elements. You know, that's how you make books exciting and spicy, is you make everything important. But like, she made everything important to the point where nothing was important anymore. So like, for example, Asriel, my main man, the love of my life, honestly, the love of my life. So he's like stone cold, right? Doesn't react to anything, is super like, you know, like fierce, doesn't get afraid, right? So when he like flinches or is like, you know, it's terrible. But that happened like 6 times. So by the 6th time, you're like, okay, Az is just more of a baby than we thought. You know, like, it's no longer like, whoa, that must be a really terrible thing. It's just like, okay, Az, like, he's just reacting again, you know? So like, when you dramatize everything, everything loses its power, loses its emphasis. And so I just felt like by the end of this book, when, okay, this is gonna be a major spoiler, when it was like, she put on the mask and the harp and everything, I was like, yeah, okay, I figured. Like, I was like, whoa. And everyone was like, Nesta. And I was like, okay, Nesta. Like, it just lost its oomph because everything else before that had been dramatic. It was just another thing. But other than that, I really liked it. Maybe I should hold it for longer in case people are like scrolling through. How long does it take for this to be like a box? Yeah, other than that, I really liked it though. Like, I still really enjoyed it. Just all of her other books are even more top tier that this one just couldn't match. And I also started noticing things about her writing that I didn't notice before, and that is making me worried. Like, if I go and reread Throne of Glass for like the 4th time, is it gonna be different? Like, have I become too much of a reading like a writer that now I'm gonna be like unhappy with it? I don't want it to change. I don't want my love of that book to change. I hate growing up. I don't. Sometimes I do. I'm trying to enjoy the changes in life. That got a little deep there for a second. Yeah. So it's 3.5 books. In case you're wondering what the other half. A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, which is so good, bro. Okay, so I've gotten a lot better at reading. So I'm able to like catch on to things a lot better than I used to be able to. So like, and Virginia Woolf was a masterful writer. So look, guys, it's so pretty. But because I'm doing such in-depth and analytical annotations, I read outside for probably like 2-3 hours, maybe 3 hours, and I read like 12 pages. But also, it was more like I would read for 15 minutes and then lay down with my eyes closed for 30, and then read for 10, and then just sit and stare at the leaves on the tree for like 15. I was being contemplative. I don't know. I was just chilling. I was just sitting in the sunshine, drinking some water. I really need some water. I haven't drinking water yet today. It's 2:30, 2:45. Enjoying life. I love sitting outside. I want to be outside right now, but I don't want to get dressed. Also, our washer's broken. I've been wearing C-list outfits for a week and a half. Do you know how embarrassing that is? In my first day of my creative writing class, I told them that I expressed my creativity through my outfits, and it's not showing. That's embarrassing for me. Our washer needs to get fixed now so I can get back to my A-list outfits and prove to everyone that I do know how to dress myself. Some people might not think I do, but I think I do. It's my own personal little look. It's hippie meets girl next door meets dark academia. Anyways, thanks for watching. That's what I read for the past 2 weeks. Hopefully in 2 weeks from today, I will be able to tell you what I thought about this book, which is going to be lots of good things. Also, do you think I should highlight too? Because like this looks really cool and aesthetic, but I feel like it needs a little pop, a color. I don't know. Also, I didn't label tabs because I don't know if I'm gonna have enough for the whole book, because I'm only on page like 22 and I've used so many. So like I don't want to label them in case I have to switch colors, but now I also can't remember what color goes with what kind of annotation. I'm getting so confused. See you in 2 weeks. I'll let you know what I read.